Good to have you with us this Friday morning. I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Thanks for starting off your day with us. We are going to begin this morning with President Trump sparking outrage after demanding several Democratic lawmakers be arrested for what he called seditious behavior and suggesting they could be executed.
President Trump made those posts after half a dozen members of Congress released a video. In it, the lawmakers urge U.S. service members and the intelligence community to disobey illegal orders and protect the Constitution.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
The lawmakers did not specify which orders they were talking about. In response, writing on social media, the president called the group, some of whom are veterans, traitors. He suggested that their actions could be, quote, punishable by death. NBC News White House correspondent Monica Alba joins us now with more on this. So, Monica, Democratic Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries put out a statement calling the president's rhetoric disgusting and dangerous, saying political violence has no place in America. We know Democratic Congressman Al Green of Texas threatening to bring forward articles of impeachment against the president. How are Republican leaders in the White House just trying to frame the president's words here?
Well, we have seen this time and time again, Joe and Savannah, but of course, the president's words really matter. And sometimes he says things that are pretty incendiary, pretty inflammatory. And oftentimes Republicans will say, well, maybe I wouldn't have put it in quite those same words. That's at least what we heard from several people, Speaker Mike Johnson, for instance, and Majority Leader John Thune, saying that they wouldn't have necessarily framed it in this same manner, even if they express some of the concerns largely that are being issued with whatever these Democrats are calling for with this warning, with this directive to some military service members. But the White House was quick to clarify that this isn't a situation where the president of the United States is actually calling for members of Congress to be executed. But it's pretty remarkable that they even had to clarify it to that point. Here's how that exchange went in the briefing room yesterday. Listen.
Does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No, they should be held accountable, and that's what the president wants to see.
The words that the president chose are not the ones that I would use, okay? Obviously, I don't think that this is these are crimes punishable by death or any of that.
Now, what's important here is that remember that military members swear an oath to the Constitution and not to the president. And what Democrats are trying to be really specific about is this idea of, quote, illegal orders. But the White House was saying that essentially this is some members of Congress telling military members to disobey any order. And Democrats are trying to be really clear about the specificity here of what they are saying in this video.
Yeah, Monica, let's talk more about that because we don't know like super specifically what orders the Democrats in the videos were referring to, but what do we think compelled this?
I think there could be a couple of different things. Certainly, we know that there have been deployments of the National Guard, of other military resources to cities across the United States when it comes to immigration enforcement. So is it possible this could be related to that? Is it possible it could also be related to these continued strikes that we're seeing on boats in the Caribbean and in the Eastern Pacific for what the Trump administration labels these narco terrorists, but which certainly lawmakers have raised a ton of questions about the legality of ordering those strikes depending on who is on them and what they are actually carrying, given, again, renewed questions about the evidence for which the administration is using to base these continued strikes on. So those could be some possibilities. But the White House says that they are looking at this now from the Department of Justice angle to see whether just the Democrats bringing this message forward could result in any consequences for them. So that could be where this goes next, too, guys.
Monica, while we have you, we want to ask you about a legal setback for the Trump administration and its crackdown on crime in Washington, D.C., which started a few months ago. Yesterday, a federal judge ruled the deployment of National Guard troops in the Capitol actually violates federal law. The judge essentially wrote, the president doesn't have the power to deploy the Guard for non-military crime deterrence missions without a request from city officials. What does this mean? Will these troops be sent home anytime soon? How's the White House reacting?
Not yet, because we know that this judge basically stayed their own order for a matter of time to allow for the administration to appeal. And the White House hasn't said if that's exactly what they're going to do, but they did respond in a statement basically dismissing this, saying that this is a lawsuit that tries to undermine the president's own authority over the District of Columbia and making these kinds of decisions. But we know that there's another case that is related to the Supreme Court that will look at the consideration of National Guard in Illinois, and perhaps they will wait for that decision before this goes forward. But for now, we know these National Guard troops are supposed to be in D.C. until February. Again, they will be here at least through the next couple of days and weeks until this winds its way through the courts.
All
Joan
right.
Savannah.
Monica Alba, thank you so much.
Well, former Republican congressional staffer is facing up to a decade in prison this morning after federal prosecutors say she faked a violent and politically motivated attack on herself. Some of the images showing the links she allegedly went to as part of the hoax are disturbing. NBC News correspondent Erin McLaughlin has the details.
These images show a then Republican congressional staffer lying face down in a New Jersey nature reserve, her hands zip-tied behind her back, her body lacerated with Trump and a profane word written across her stomach. Federal prosecutors allege 26-year-old Natalie Green did this to herself, part of an elaborate hoax meant to look like a politically motivated attack. According to the criminal complaint, at around 10:30 p.m. on July 23rd, an unnamed co-conspirator called 911. Telling dispatch that she and Green had been walking the trail when three guys just attacked us, talking politics and stuff, calling Green a racist. Police say they found Green crying loudly and yelling, "He has a gun, he has a gun." Investigators later found duct tape and black zip ties inside Green's Maserati. They also allege Green paid an artist $500 to cut her body just hours before the hoax attack. The court documents noting the cuts made to Green's skin at her request follow the exact same pattern as the lacerations observed when she was lying on the ground. Green is now charged with conspiracy to convey false information and hoaxes and with making false statements. In a statement, her lawyer writing, under the law, she is presumed innocent. The congressman she used to work for, Jeff Van Drew, said he hopes she's getting the care she needs.
I don't know any more than you all do, and we never would interfere with an investigation or a criminal process.
Erin McLaughlin, NBC News.
Federal investigators released dramatic new photographs of that deadly UPS cargo plane crash in Louisville earlier this month. 14 people were killed. The picture suggests the left engine came off before it caught fire. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello has the latest on the investigation.
The NTSB photos show the left engine and the pylon holding it to the UPS plane's wing coming off the plane as it began to take off. Then a massive fire as the engine exploded up and over the fuselage, dooming the 3 pilots on board and killing 11 people on the ground. Mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, husbands and wives.
This might be the toughest Thanksgiving that their families have ever been through.
In the plane's remains, the NTSB says investigators found fatigue fractures in the pylon structure holding the engine to the wing. There and there with green arrows. As the NTSB notes, haunting similarities to a 1979 crash involving the previous model of the same plane that killed everyone on board.
This is all that was left of American Airlines Flight 191, as far as it got on its way to Los Angeles.
Investigators later determined the engine and pylon came off that plane after being damaged during maintenance. The FAA quickly ordered regular inspections of similar planes. The UPS plane that crashed in Louisville, built in 1994, went through routine maintenance in October, but wasn't yet due for a heavy, detailed pylon inspection.
The similarity of the engine and pylon coming off the wing is too obvious just to ignore. But the details of how that happened, well, that's something the NTSB is going to be challenged.
The MD-11 has been grounded. Both FedEx and UPS, though, rely on it for cross-country cargo runs. That is impacting their operations going into the holidays. Both have had to use smaller planes, lean on partner airlines and ground transport options to help carry their packages. That is delaying some shipping already, but they both hope to be operating normally as to get closer into Christmas. Back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you.
Well, AAA estimates a record 82 million Americans are expected to travel more than 50 miles during Thanksgiving week. Well, now with the nation's airports ramping back up to full capacity after that government shutdown, travelers now have another concern on the mind. That's severe weather.
Storms are sweeping across the country. That includes a powerful system in Texas, dumping heavy rounds of rain. The bad weather threatening to create chaos for folks who are getting ready for the busiest travel week of the year.
For more, let's bring in NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa. She's at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. She joins us with the latest. Maggie, good morning. I mean, how's it going so far this morning? Really just the early jump on Thanksgiving, right? But what you see in there? Any delays? Is it crowded?
For sure, guys, it is crowded, I can tell you. Of course, we're barely off and running, but things definitely here. The lines are long. The crowds are larger than what we normally see, but they seem to be moving along relatively well. I just checked FlightAware's misery map. Delays and cancellations relatively low here in Chicago. No surprise, given the video that you just showed. The biggest impact right now at the airport in Dallas, where those torrential rains and flash floods really hit overnight. So we'll see how that kind of plays out through the rest of the day. But so far, nationwide, things relatively well, just kind of given that sore spot there.
I remember when people used to leave for Thanksgiving on Wednesday. Now it's like Friday, 5 days before, and the airports are packed. It's unreal. So, I mean, here's the big thing, Maggie. They're dealing with severe storms sweeping across the country. How much should travelers worry about the potential for weather delays in the coming days?
You know, they should definitely take it into account. I don't know if we would go so far as to say worry about it. Officials have stressed that they, meaning airport officials and all four major airlines, United, American, Southwest, Delta, all say they're ready to handle the holiday surge. And of course, when they say that, that means they're taking into account this potential for severe weather, right? That can always throw a major wrench in things. We've seen it before, but they've told us they're back up to normal staffing levels. Given everything that's happened over the last few weeks, they said it wouldn't be a bad idea if people wanted to get to the airports even earlier than they normally do, like 3 hours early instead of 2. But really, the airlines and airports have said they're ready. They had seen the forecast. They know things like this can happen. Still, they're just asking people to take a little bit of extra caution. Worry, though, maybe a step too far given what we've heard. But of course, we'll see.
What's the best advice, Maggie, if you're flying over the next few days?
Getting there extra early is kind of the key one. That's different from years past that we've heard. Also, of course, all the old standbys, downloading your airline's app, signing up for the alerts. A couple of industry analysts that we spoke to, so not anyone who has to worry about representing the airlines or the airports well, they said, you know, it wouldn't hurt to keep a carry-on with basically an extra change of clothes specific to where your connection is. So if like you're flying to Hawaii or something, but you're connecting through Chicago and you get stuck, you don't want to be in shorts and a Hawaiian shirt basically overnight. So just keep that in mind if you have that connection, and maybe just plan accordingly. Play it extra safe, they said.
That is great advice.
Know the layover weather and hope you get to Hawaii. While we have you, while you're at an airport, we do want to ask you about a holdover from the shutdown. The Trump administration issuing bonuses to air traffic controllers who maintained perfect attendance during that 40-day shutdown. How much money are we talking about here, and when could these air traffic controllers get these bonuses?
Guys, we are talking about $10,000 bonuses for nearly 800 air traffic controllers and technicians.
Amazing.
The Trump administration announcing this, I know, yesterday, saying that these men and women, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy calling them patriotic men and women who, in his words, never missed a beat and kept the flying public safe. He said they should see an automated alert about this bonus next week, Thanksgiving week, and they should have the money in their accounts by December 9th. This had been talked about by the administration. It had been floated by the president, but it wasn't like kind of a real tangible promise until yesterday. So, yeah, of course, a major headline this morning.
I love that. Them and our TSA workers who kept us flying during that. Amazing. Maggie, thank you so much.
We thanked them during it, but we didn't give them $10,000. All right. So as we were talking about with Maggie, we're wrapping up a week of soggy weather, drenching millions of people, and there is more to come.
That means it's time for Angie Last-Minute to join us with the latest. Hi, Angie. Good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning. It feels like I'm a broken record here talking about the weather across parts parts of the Southwest, specifically Southern California. We once again are waking up to some wet weather. We've still got the potential for some flooding, so no surprise that we're seeing these flood watches remain this morning. Some of them stretching into parts of Southwest Arizona. You can see just to the east of Indio included in that for California. And then the LA area, we do actually have a flash flood warning in effect there as of right now. And you can see why. We're spinning in more of this moisture, and it kind of just hangs around through the day today. It's a quick mover, so it'll take its time as it works towards Arizona today as far as that system is concerned, and the flood threat will remain, specifically concerned about those desert areas today. By tomorrow, a lot of that moisture is going to be over the Baja Peninsula, but we're still, again, going to see some of that kind of drift up into portions of southern Arizona. Notice Southern California looks a little drier, so we'll get a little bit of a break. But even still, between now and tomorrow, we'll see those highest amounts centered across parts of southeastern California and southwestern Arizona, up to an inch, maybe some isolated amounts a little higher than that. Meanwhile, in the middle of the country, we've got another storm system that's kind of working its way to the east. This is going to be basically a rainmaker from the Ohio Valley to the mid-Atlantic, and that's where I would watch for maybe some slower travel today. There'll be scattered showers for the southeast, so maybe one or two that you'll have to dodge there. And then it really picks up its pace and races across parts of the northeast and mid-Atlantic for tomorrow. So we'll see the first half of the day in places like New York City with a little bit of rain, but I think that should clear out pretty quickly, and you'll be back to enjoying your weekend. Speaking of the weekend, here's the big picture look. Really warm conditions, again, they continue across the middle of the country. We've got a whole lot of sunshine for the Great Lakes in the Midwest. There's that light rain that I mentioned for the east. And then looking ahead to Sunday, actually the fourth busiest travel day, guys. So we know that we're going to be looking at the airports and looking at any trouble spots. The couple that I want you to note, Northwest is going to see some rainfall. So places like Seattle, Portland, you could see maybe some delays there. They'll be likely. So I would definitely take Maggie's advice when you're considering heading to those airports. Dallas, similar story. Otherwise, there sure is a lot of green on this map, from Boston to Miami, Chicago, Minneapolis, looking really good for Sunday. And the roads, it's going to be those same kind of spots. So the Southern Rockies and the Plains, you could see some wet roads and maybe even a little bit of snow. And then similar story along I-5 across parts of the Pacific Northwest. You'll see some of those likely delays on the roadways. It'll take you a little longer to get where you're going. And we kind of keep that going as we look ahead into Wednesday. I know I've skipped a couple days, but again, another busy travel day. Wednesday, you can see a lot of rain across the east. And then as we look at those airports, it's going to be Boston to Atlanta that we watch. But it just looks like rain right now. So I'm not too concerned, but we know how the snowball effect works with things like this, weather delays.
And it looks like if you do end up in Chicago with your shorts and a Hawaiian shirt, it's actually not maybe tolerable. You might be okay.
Right, you won't need your parka.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you. All right, well, with a few very notable exceptions, U.S. leaders from across the past few decades gathered in Washington on Thursday for the funeral of former Vice President Dick Cheney. While he was a powerful and polarizing figure when in office, friends and family from both sides of the political aisle gathered to honor his legacy. NBC News Chief Washington correspondent Andrea Mitchell has a look at how he was remembered.
At the National Cathedral, a bipartisan farewell for Dick Cheney, perhaps the most powerful vice president of modern times, and also controversial. Chosen by George W. Bush to select a running mate in 2000, he then got the job.
I realized the best choice for the vice president was the man sitting right in front of me.
His last act, uniting 2 former presidents and 4 former vice presidents from opposing parties, including Kamala Harris, whom Cheney endorsed over President Trump. Neither President Trump nor Vice President Vance were invited. Trump has not commented. This from Vance.
We certainly wish his family all the best in this moment of grieving.
Cheney's daughter Liz, who lost her congressional seat after investigating the attack on the Capitol, said her dad always put country over party.
For him, a choice between defense of the Constitution and defense of your political party was no choice at all.
After 9/11, Cheney faced fierce backlash for supporting the U.S. invasion of Iraq. The belief that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction proved wrong.
This was a vice president totally devoted to protecting the United States and its interests. There was never any agenda or angle beyond that.
Cheney's Pentagon spokesman, our former colleague Pete Williams, described how Cheney treated his aides.
When the boss that you serve cleans up after your mistakes, you can bet that inspires loyalty.
Both men from the same town in Wyoming. Pete also recalled if he had gone fishing with Cheney and said 10 words all day, Cheney would have said he talked too much.
Oh, Andrea, thank you so much.
Great tribute from our colleague Pete Williams. All right, much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, the bidding war has begun for Warner Brothers Discovery. 3 major rivals now officially in the running to try and buy the entertainment giant. We're going to bring you the latest.
Up first, though, new developments in a case that's sort of become the center of America's deportation battle. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned now.
Every night, taking you to the story. Weeknights on NBC News Now.
Stay on top of breaking news and the biggest stories of the day with NBC News Daily. Get in-depth reporting from across the country and around the world, and ways you can take care of your health and your wallet. NBC News Daily. Weekdays from 12 to 4 on NBC News Now.
It's your news playlist. Top Story with Tom Yamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
NBC News Daily. Weekdays from 12 to 4 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back. Border Patrol agents have concluded their immigration enforcement operations in Charlotte, North Carolina, according to the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office. The Department of Homeland Security says agents arrested more than 250 people in dramatic and chaotic scenes that sparked fear and forced many businesses to close. A senior DHS official has told NBC News that agents are planning to head to New Orleans next, with operations expected to start after Thanksgiving.
In other immigration news, a federal judge in Maryland could be on the verge of releasing Kilmar Abrego Garcia from ICE custody. Abrego had been living in Maryland with his wife and children when he was deported to El Salvador. Despite a court order barring that, he was eventually brought back to the U.S.
He's become really a symbol of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. An evidentiary hearing was held yesterday on Abrego's potential deportation, but a top ICE official testifying struggled to answer the judge's questions about the case. Abrego has been held in a Pennsylvania detention center for 3 months.
NBC News legal affairs reporter Gary Grumbach joins us now with the latest on this. So, Gary, walk us through what happened during yesterday's hearing on this potential deportation and why the judge could end up releasing Abrego.
Yeah, well, Joe, it appears that the Trump administration has no real imminent plans to actually deport Kilmar Abrego Garcia from the United States to a country that is A, willing to take him, or B, that Abrego doesn't say he has a fear of going to, that he would be potentially tortured or persecuted if he went there. The Trump administration has tried to send Abrego to Uganda. They said no. They tried to send him to Ghana. They said no. Tried to send him to Eswatini. They said no. They tried to send him to Liberia. That is a country that Liberia was willing to welcome him, but Abrego said he was going to face torture or potential persecution if he went to that country. Costa Rica did seem like a country that was going to be okay for all parties, but suddenly the Trump administration does not want to send him to Costa Rica, and the judge yesterday couldn't get any answers why. So because of that, Judge Zenas may very well order Kilmar Abrego Garcia released from ICE custody, because ICE custody is not supposed to be a punitive long-term place for him to be. It's supposed to be a temporary holding facility. Guys?
We know he has a criminal trial coming up in Tennessee in January. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so if he is released from ICE custody, he will not just be a free man here in the state of Maryland. He will be under strict conditions of release, and that's because of that trial in January in Tennessee. He's being charged with several counts of human smuggling related to a 2022 traffic stop there. But he would be under conditions of release in Maryland that essentially don't let him leave his brother's house unless he's going to work or another essential service, guys.
Gary, because this case is such a flashpoint, we saw protests outside the court in Maryland yesterday. Tell us more about who was there and what we heard from them.
We have seen this group of protests at every single one of these Kilmar Abrego Garcia hearings since this all began back in March. We're talking more than a dozen now. We've seen members of the community, state lawmakers, national lawmakers gathering in support of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Here's what one of them had to say.
We are here to stand with his family, to say that in Maryland, we not only stand up and stand with immigrant communities, but if you are going to come and terrorize immigrant communities, our neighbors, you're going to have to come through us first.
And in a remarkable moment, guys, at the end of yesterday's hearing, Judge Zenas actually shouted out the protesters, thanking them for being there and thanking them for peacefully protesting. Guys.
Okay, Gary, thank you so much. Now, as the immigration crackdown continues, more and more immigrants say they're becoming victims of scams offering legal advice. Some are paying hundreds, even thousands of dollars to scammers for services that ultimately are not real. NBC News Now anchor Zincle Esama spoke with one person who was targeted.
This is one of the numbers Carlos says regularly calls them, offering immigration legal services in the United States. It's a number they now believe belongs to a scammer after they lost hundreds of dollars seeking asylum services of their own.
Una persona me dio un lugar donde supuestamente sacaban asilo. Me dijo que me iba a cobrar como $600. Me hizo un papeleo, pero nunca me entregó papeles y cuando ya fui, ya no estaba la oficina. Había desaparecido.
The 43-year-old, who uses they-them pronouns, came to the United States in September 2023 during the Biden administration using the CBP One app. Carlos, who asked us not to use their last name or show their face, says they had to flee their home in Ecuador out of fear for their life due to discrimination based on their sexuality.
Tenía mucho miedo.
Carlos is still in the process of seeking asylum in the U.S. after a failed attempt paying what they now believe was a fake lawyer.
How much money did you end up paying this person?
500.
And did you ever receive any legal services, any form of support or goods?
No, no recibo nada.
Do you believe you were scammed?
Por supuesto que sí. Como yo no sabía nada de esta situación, apenas tenía 2 meses de haber llegado a este país.
Now, lawmakers in New York City warn more and more immigrants are losing hundreds or even thousands of dollars to individuals impersonating attorneys or federal agents.
They're not trying to be here illegally. They're here following the due process.
New York City Council member Julie Wan says dozens of constituents reach out to her office weekly, alleging they were scammed.
They bring over these flyers to us. They said, is this real? I followed the instructions. I scanned this QR code, or I went on this Facebook page, made an appointment. They asked me for an advance of anywhere from $600 to $2,000 in order for me to get this appointment to fill out my immigration papers. and I paid them, and when I showed up to this office, nobody was there.
Amid the rise in complaints, Juan proposed and ultimately passed a New York City law doubling the penalties for fake immigration legal services from $3,900 to $20,000 for scammers with multiple violations. It comes as in New York City alone, immigration-related scams rose by 27% last year, according to the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. An NBC News investigation finding reports of fraudulent immigration lawyers and federal agents appearing in at least 30 states across the country. Carlos will be assigned a court-appointed attorney, but in the waiting, they still receive calls from possible scammers.
Estoy preocupada porque todavía no tengo abogado. Tengo miedo que me hagan otro fraude, por eso acudí aquí para que me ayudara y voy a esperar.
Thanks to Zincle Esamoah for that report. Well, the American Bar Association has also issued an alert to the public, warning of an increase in the number of individuals impersonating lawyers. The organization told NBC News they recently received more than a dozen reports of scammers falsely posing as American Bar Association employed immigration lawyers. Coming up, an alarming study that could be hard to swallow. Researchers linking popular ultra-processed foods to chronic disease. We'll break down the findings and what doctors want you to know before you head down the snack aisle. This is Morning News Now.
Lives in the now.
There's still a danger.
We are buckled in
here on the ground.
News for the generation of now is NBC News Now. Live news streaming free everywhere.
Kristen Welker hosts Meet the Press every Sunday on NBC.
Hey, I'm Hallie, and we are coming on the air tonight.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Listen to full episodes of Meet the Press wherever you get your podcasts.
We're back with a stark warning published in one of the world's leading scientific journals that says ultra-processed foods now pose a massive threat to global health and well-being. This was in a series of 3 papers. It's published in The Lancet. The study found ultra-processed foods, UPFs they're also called, are linked to harm in every major organ system. The evidence was reviewed by 43 of the world's leading experts. The studies conclude that food companies are putting profit over well-being, which is leading to a concerning rise in diet trends that can have a serious impact on our overall health. Let's bring in our friend NBC News medical contributor, Dr. Natalie Azar, for more on this. Dr. Azar, good morning. Okay, I'm so interested in this. I feel like UPFs, ultra-processed foods, have almost become this like buzzword, but for good reason. We need to understand what they are, what it's doing to put in our body. So first, can you help us understand what is an ultra-processed food? Why are they so bad?
Absolutely. So as the name implies, ultra-processed foods are foods that are meant to be, first of all, have a very, very long shelf life. So if you just think of anything that you have to open in a package, you can already assume that there's going to be some degree of processing in there. But I think just sort of the take home here, ultra processed means usually very highly palatable. That means it's going to taste really good, high in sugar, salt, saturated fat, and very, very low in fiber, as well as all those important macro and micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals. So just by their very nature, they are typically very nutritionally void foods, and that is what is thought to be contributing to the chronic disease epidemic.
One quick follow-up, Dr. Azar. I know that sometimes what confuses me is not all processing necessarily is bad. I think, is it maybe almost like we can use our best judgment? For example, non-fat Greek yogurt was processed to get the fat out. I'm thinking that's kind of in the column of good for you versus Snickers and chips are not.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why you're going to hear some pushback, which, to be honest, I don't think is totally sincere. But yes, of course, if you have frozen broccoli in the freezer, that has been processed. That is absolutely fine. And any nutritionist will tell you that it's fine to eat frozen vegetables from the freezer. And your example of non-fat Greek yogurt is exactly that. But the things that we all know, obviously, Savannah, chips and sodas and things like that, and highly processed meats, that's really what we're concentrating on here.
Okay, good to know. Also, I mentioned this really gets your attention that they harm every major organ system. What are they doing to our bodies? What's happening internally because of UPFs?
So think about it, what I just said about how the nutritional content of ultra-processed foods generally, again, the ones that we're talking about that are particularly high in saturated fat and salt and sugar, they just don't have any nutritional value. And over time, all of those different chemicals and compounds and things like that can lead to chronic inflammation, which ultimately can lead to chronic disease. We talk a lot about what diseases are associated with ultra-processed foods. We're talking about all the metabolic diseases like heart disease and type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, for example, colorectal cancer, being associated with highly processed meats that, especially meats, that has been designated as a carcinogen for years by the World Health Organization. And so that's really the concern here, is that you're ingesting all of these foods that have no nutritional value that down the line can increase the risk for these chronic diseases, Savannah.
One of the things that came out of these papers, doctor, and it makes sense, right, is that this isn't just on us to not pick those things at the grocery store. We need government intervention. We need help with what's able to even be produced and put on our shelves in the first place. I think about recent examples of what's going on with food dye and the government, the FDA stepping in. Do you have hope that something like that will happen? And how needed do you think that is to reverse this on a large scale?
So it's 100,000% needed. My optimism for how much we're going to be able to get accomplished, and especially in an economy and an ethos in this country, I'm not that optimistic about it, Savannah. And that is because we basically have, for the last number of decades, we have had a very pro-corporation, deregulatory environment where these companies are absolutely favoring profit over public health. It's easy for you and me to say, pick a healthy food. But if you're living in a place in the country where access to whole food and fresh fruit and vegetables is not available, and the abundance of food that is available is ultra processed, you're not going to be able to accomplish that without some sort of whole of government movement to make that happen.
Really quickly, Dr. Azar, just give us, I know some of it might be kind of obvious, but some habits on a daily basis we can keep in mind.
Oh, 100%. So if you're looking at something that, first of all, is in a package, make sure that it's 5 ingredients or less. Make sure that you at least know what the first 3 ingredients might be. And this is a pearl, I think, for everybody. If a food is ultra processed, that means it probably contains things like flavors, emulsifiers, all of these things that you probably wouldn't have in your own kitchen. So if the ingredient list is not something that you have in your shelf, it's probably ultra processed and not that good for you. Try to make 1 change a week and you're already going to be way ahead of the game.
Dr. Azar, such important information. Great conversation. Thank you for joining us. Well, this next story is sort of like a different kind of medical miracle. 2 Minnesota teens met in a hospital after surviving traumatic brain injuries. And in a romantic twist, with a little help from moms turned matchmakers, their scary road to recovery led to a fairy tale ending. Boyd Hooper from Care 11 in Minneapolis has the story.
7 years ago, they arrived at Regions Hospital as strangers. Zach Zarembinski in one ambulance, Isabel Richard in another.
Mine was October 27th, and yours was
November 5th.
Isabel's journey started at 16 in this mangled car. Zach's at 18, making tackles for his high school football team.
I just was like praying.
Both moms told their children might not survive.
She had shards of glass still in her hair, and she was unconscious.
Zach spent 9 days in a coma. Isabel was still in a coma.
Grateful for all the support.
When Zach appeared at this hospital news conference.
My husband and my sister said, let's go down. They're going to give us hope.
And when Zach's mom heard Isabel was out of her coma.
We're going. Yeah, we're going.
Said a couple kind words to Isabel, and that was it for 6 years.
But not it for moms, Tracy and Esther.
We stayed in touch on Facebook.
But it took the moms getting the families together for dinner.
I asked her for her phone number.
Which led to this first date, which led to this.
I love you.
I love you too.
Which brings us back to the hospital.
Excited.
And 2 families tipped on what's about to happen around the corner.
I just have a question for you. Will you marry me?
Yes.
I love you so much.
Me too.
2 lives that intersected in the worst of times are now paving the way for the best.
It's just like sorrow to joy.
Yes.
For NBC News, Boyd Hooper, St. Paul, Minnesota.
Okay, I'm not crying, you're crying. That was so sweet. Coming up, deals or duds, growing concern as the trade war continues that those big Black Friday discounts we're used to seeing won't be happening this year. What shoppers need to know. And Zip It Good, the new look for one of the oldest forms of fashion hardware. Don't zip away. Morning News Now will be right back.
When news breaks, it happens here. But the story happens here. Being here is what matters.
Tonight and always, we're here for you.
NBC Nightly News with Tom Llamas.
Top story live from the Vatican. Live tonight from Tel Aviv. We're live from the White House.
Every weeknight, it's your news playlist. Top story with Tom Llamas. Streaming weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
We are back with a growing concern for many Americans as the holiday shopping season kicks off. Some Black Friday deals have already started, but experts warn shoppers might not see the big discounts they usually see, and that's because of tariffs. Allie Spilliards from NBC Dallas spoke to two business owners who said they had to raise their prices and cut back on sales this year.
If you're starting to plan your holiday shopping, you should know that consumer experts say Black Friday is going to look a little different this year. Come on, we're going to go find out why.
The tariffs came. I think everyone didn't know what was coming next. We were negotiating with our factories, trying to lower costs on that end, and then also raise costs a bit for our customers to help mitigate the overall price we had to pass on.
That's Jeremy and Lila Stewart.
So this is our amazing slipper line.
The founders of Dallas-based flip-flop brand Hari Mari. This past August, tariffs on Chinese imports led them to raise prices anywhere from $10 to $15 a pair. So while they'd never forego their annual Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale.
Oh my gosh, it's crucial.
This year, they're rethinking it.
These are our gift with purchases.
Skipping discounts for top sellers and doing what they can to offset a discount that doesn't dip as low as it once did.
Given this has been a different year for sure, we've started a new promotion. It's actually running right now, and it's something that we normally don't do and we haven't done before in terms of what we're offering, which is a gift with purchase. So hopefully for any of those consumers that might be a little upset about the price increase, we're adding a little bit of an extra value.
According to some recent headlines, Hari Mari is not alone. In a recent Bloomberg report shared by our partners at the Dallas Morning News, they named 6 major retailers also cutting back on promotions this year. And CNBC also recently reported that the holidays are when consumers will start to feel the impact of tariffs. They say that's because many stocked up ahead of duties, absorbing some of that early impact. While the upcoming season is still uncertain, Hari Mari not only survived the pandemic, but grew.
I feel like if a business, a brand, personal families can weather a storm like that, then now it's, the conversation is not as big.
The Stewarts have faith. They'll weather this one too.
We've come such a long way.
Our thanks to Allie Spilliards from NBC Dallas for that report there. Well, for more, we now want to talk with the CEO. We have Monty Sharma. He's the CEO of TheraBody. You've probably heard of it. It's a popular wellness technology brand. You might have your TheraGun, TheraFace, all these different types of things that we love. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
I'd love to just ask you right off the back of that how tariffs have impacted you and your company, what it's done as you calculate what you can kind of handle in terms of Black Friday sales, deals, if that's had an impact for you.
Yeah, tariffs definitely had an impact for TheraBody through the course of 2025. It's been a challenging year for us, but we have figured out a way to move our supply chains out of China into other countries, diversify them, reduce our operating expenses. We did have to take a slight price increase for the first time since we've ever operated our business, and with that, we have been able to think about how to approach the consumer during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday time period, which is very important for us because TheraBody products are often gifted during this time period. Absolutely. You'll see our products underneath many Christmas trees across the country. But one thing that helped us a lot, Savannah, was the recent reduction of tariffs that the administration just settled with China. We are taking that 10% reduction and immediately passing that on to consumers because we know consumers are in a difficult place right now. And so you will see us be on sale a little bit more because those tariff reductions are being passed right back on.
What are you noticing about the consumer right now? And of course, when it's a gifting time, like you said, this is a great gift, but something that otherwise might be a stretch for people to be buying when their wallets and budgets are tight. What have you seen?
We are actually seeing good pockets of strength with our new products that we have launched. We are seeing them be right on plan. Black Friday, Cyber Monday started for many companies yesterday, and our our results were pretty right where we expected them to be. We certainly think that at the entry price point level, where moms are coming in with our products, et cetera, we have to be more competitive there. We are offering greater discounts there. But we are generally seeing a good resilience with our consumers, with our products.
Okay, that's good news for you. What do you think in terms of wellness? I think, of course, we talk a lot about gifting and what you think we're going to see as we head into the season. Certainly 1 week out from Black Friday, people are thinking about the gifts that they're going to buy. The wellness industry has obviously exploded, not even just recently. It's obviously been a long time coming, but it's now a $2 trillion market. And we actually have data that shows that Americans spend more than $6,000 a year per person in this space. What do you think we see this year when it comes to gift giving in the wellness space?
So wellness has over time become really mainstream, and consumers are not willing to give up their wellness routines despite the challenges we are having. So I think that's really good news, because people are getting healthier and staying healthier no matter what the economic challenges are, which is really good, because if you don't stay healthy, you add more complexities. So we are seeing strength there. We think that the data completely points to consumers not compromising in wellness. So therefore, I think it's making a big difference for Therabody, because all our products that are launching, or we operate in the wellness technology area. And I think people are also taking to our products, Savannah, because they are getting away from things like medication, pain medication. This is a much better way to go than to get dependent on pain meds.
I've seen a lot of newness from the company, just even online on social media, the way that you're marketing your products. You have these deals with, as you sort of move into these different spaces, Josh Allen, when you talk about sort of sports recovery and how people use it there, again, Kendall Jenner, and some of the beauty products that you're moving into. What can consumers or fans of Therabody expect in terms of what they're going to see in spaces like that, and also your new products?
So Therabody, as you know, first started with our percussive signature TheraGun. Our technology has now evolved into, that was just essentially mostly for athletes, but we've taken that technology and made it available for everybody, because we believe recovery is not just for the athlete, it's also for mom, it's for granddads, parents. So we think that will continue. We think that wellness, facial beauty is part of wellness, so we are taking our technologies and applying them to the wellness, to the face as well. And our recent launch of face glow mask, it's really being accepted extremely well, because it has the product has 504 lights. It has the largest clinical study we've ever done on a device like this, and you see clear results within 12 weeks around your eyes, your lips, your foreheads, things.
Sign me up, man. Monty Sharma, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming by, having a broad conversation about the shopping season about to get underway. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
We've got more money news now. The bids are in for Warner Brothers Discovery. We've got NBC's Emily Lorsch joining us now with more on the high-stakes bidding war and our Money Minute this morning. Hey, Em, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, we start this Friday morning with a major shakeup that could be coming to Hollywood as bids roll in for Warner Brothers Discovery. Paramount, Netflix, and Comcast, which is NBC's parent company, all submitted offers yesterday for some or all of the company. That's according to multiple reports. Paramount is the only bidder seeking the company's entire portfolio, while Netflix and Comcast are targeting the studio and streaming side. The board is expected to review the bids and prepare for potentially another bidding round that could transform the entertainment landscape. And OpenAI and electronics giant Foxconn are joining forces to design and build hardware for AI data centers. At its U.S. facilities, Foxconn will work on cabling, networking, and power systems, and OpenAI will have early access to evaluate and potentially purchase them. This deal comes as Foxconn has been working to diversify its business. Finally, the cost of Thanksgiving dinner has dropped again for the third year in a row. A new survey from the American Farm Bureau Federation shows that a meal for 10 people will cost just more than $55 this year. That's a 5% decline from last year and the lowest it's been since 2021. The main reason for that drop, the average Thanksgiving turkey is 16% cheaper, according to the Farm Bureau. Now, Savannah, of course, that really depends on what sides you choose. I personally think Thanksgiving dinner is all about the sides, and as we know, a lot of those prices have gone up.
Stuffing, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, a tie for me. What are your favorites?
I like all three of those. I agree with that. Stuffing just always comes out on top for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Emily?
I like a sweet potato, too, in there.
Oh, that's good.
That's a no for me, but I appreciate that you shared that. Thank you, Emily.
One of fashion's oldest hardware features is getting a glow up. The new and improved zipper will be smoother, lighter, and more flexible. One of the world's biggest zipper makers says it's a tiny update that could have big impacts on the future of clothing. NBC News correspondent Valerie Castro got a firsthand.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.